Hi, third grade. I've missed reading to you, so I'm going to begin reading Who Was Anne Frank. It's the Who Was book that you guys voted on, and I'll get started on that so you can learn a little bit more about who she was. Okay, so before they even start chapter 1, they do a little background information. Who was Anne Frank? Anne Frank's life was short. She was only 15 years old when she died in 1945. She was born in Germany, where her father's family had lived for a very long time. Her father was very proud of being German. He expected his children to live in Germany and their children after that, but that did not happen. The Franks' lives were turned upside down. They had to flee from their country. They had to go into hiding. They lost everything that was dear to them, all because they were Jewish, and a man named Adolf Hitler was in power. Hitler hated Jewish people, all Jewish people. By the time Hitler was defeated, Anne's mother was dead. So were Anne and her sister. The only person in the family who survived was Anne's beloved father, Otto. But something else survived too, Anne's diary. Anne kept a diary for 2 years. During that time, her family was in hiding. They were hiding from Hitler's soldiers. So for 2 years, they had to stay in a house and they could not leave. So she didn't get to go outside or anything. So I know we're feeling cabin fever and not liking being quarantined and not being able to go places, but this would have been way, way worse. Anne understood the dangers that her family faced. Yet in her diary, she remained hopeful about the world, even though terrible things were happening. She drew comfort from the beauty of nature, even though she couldn't step outside for a single breath of fresh air. After her death, her diary was turned into a book. And they're going to give a little background on who Adolf Hitler was. Adolf Hitler was born in 1889. He first hoped to become an artist, but he wasn't talented enough. So he turned to politics instead. His dream was to make Germany the most powerful empire on earth. In German, the word for leader is Führer. Führer. I'm not very good at pronouncing that. Hitler ruled over Germany from 1933 until 1945, when during the last days of World War II, he killed himself rather than surrender and face a trial. From the start, Hitler convinced Germans that Jews were to blame for all the country's problems. In speeches, he worked great crowds into a frenzy by screaming that something had to be done. His answer was to get rid of the Jews, all of them. He saw to it that 13 million people were killed, 6 million of them Jews. How can a person be so evil? Thousands of books have been written about Hitler since his death, but none of them have really found an answer. Today, more than 70 years after Anne's last diary entry, she remains a symbol of hope. Her diary has been translated into more than 70 languages. It has sold more than 30 million copies. There have been plays and movies about her. A short life, even a very short life, can be full of meaning.